Good morning. Give me a second. I'm going to go ahead and ground this feed with some Palo Santo. I haven't been live in a few days. It's like really weird weather here. I'm in a tank top and I'm like really hot right now. It's really hot outside. So it's kind of crazy weather being December. I'm going to go ahead and share this. I like to do this to keep trolls away. I'm going to be covering session 19. I feel really out of focus because usually I do my feeds on Monday for this class every Monday, maybe sometimes Tuesday, so I'm really late with this feed. Bear with me while I share this. And then I'm going to get off of here and I'm going to be doing a news feed back to back. We have some crazy energy and some crazy upgrades going on. I'll talk about that too. Give me 1 sec, I have like one more share. Go ahead and share this feed too. I've noticed that electronics are being a little bit slow with this energy already. That's to be expected. I foresee lots of communication problems coming a little bit after the moon. All right, we're on session 19. I'm going to go ahead and cover that right now. And then literally, I'm going to be posting session 20 today. And then starting some discussion questions too. I really had to take like a few days off for some ascension symptoms, so I'm feeling much better. I was yesterday, but I'm kind of still getting in the flow and getting caught up with all of my work. The study group was concerned in their communication with the evolution of mind, body, and spirit. They began with the transition from the second to the third density. Then they shifted to investigate in detail the evolution of third density entities on Earth. Their focus and what they paid particular attention to was the mechanisms which helped or hindered that evolution. It's hard for us to understand things in the illusion. We have to be able to understand the intelligent energy that animates our illusion. The universe is one creation, is one infinite being. Its heart is beating and alive and made of intelligent energy shifting from creation to creation. Every entity will experience each and every density. Oh, all the love. Good morning. I don't know if Brittany's here. I see Brittany's here. I'm going to be doing news too, and I have really amazing news about maybe extraterrestrial life being discovered by Russia and all sorts of good things. So I'm going to be breezing through this feed, and then I'll be doing cards too today on a separate feed. So we have an animal as a second density, and from the second density. So a lot of dogs, a lot of pets are of the second density. Some of them might be turning into third density pets now, though, to stay with us. So an animal is a second density entity that is ready to transition to the third density. There are 3 types of second density entities that become spirited. The first is the animal. This is most common. The second is the vegetable, especially the tree. People get so mad. Everything in this matrix has consciousness. Plants, animals, my pillow is actually alive. So everything has consciousness, especially trees, plants, things like that. I'm an earth sign and I have a very strong connection, more with the earth and animals than people usually. So trees are capable of giving and receiving enough love to become individualized. The third is minerals or crystals. Sometimes minerals or crystals become energized to individuality through the love they give and receive in relationships to the people they have relationships with. So all of these objects are living. We sell crystals on our site, so I use like necklaces and crystals to encode with energy. You can actually program them any way that you want, which is pretty amazing. And you know that like if someone dies or something and they have a piece of jewelry, that they will always contain their energy, that we actually encode our energy in the objects that we're touching and around all the time. So usually they'll have a lot of that person's energy in it. When this transition from second to third density takes place, the entity, whether it's an animal, vegetable, tree, or mineral, becomes inspirited. Well, entities don't become inspirited. They actually become aware of the intelligent energy within each portion, cell, or atom of their beingness. All densities come from the infinite. Self-awareness is given as a catalyst of certain experiences of understanding. This is a particular energy. This energy spirals upward as cells or atoms of consciousness. It's an inevitable pull towards the eventual self-realization. After the transition into the third density on Earth, they look like us. They would be in human form. People get really upset, but I tell people I've been a tree before. I've been all forms because I was a light body, so I've experienced a lot of different experiences in all different types of forms, and I really believe that's how we start out as like plant life and we work our way up. When the first, second density entities become third density on this planet, this was with the help and the transfer of beings from Mars. Some were second density beings who transferred into the third density with no outside influences. There were some second density entities that made the graduation into third density with no outside influences. They used experience. Others from our planet joined the third density cycle to help the planet. The Confederation has sent out vibratory aid. Any communication has been telepathic because it's second density beings. I actually communicate with my dog telepathically. It sounds really weird, but he can completely communicate with me about like everything. So animals are actually capable of telepathic communication as well. They actually have a high level of awareness. Aid was sent to the second density beings by the Confederation of Planets, who are in service to the one infinite creator. This second density to third density transition took place 75,000 years ago. We're kind of ending that cycle now, and I guess a lot of us are in that cycle too, and a lot of us are those ones that were sent by the Confederation that volunteered to come aid this planet. The second density beings got physical vehicles of the third density type to incarnate into. There were some of the second density that were exposed to the third density vibrations, and they became of the third density vibration. These were the human entities. They had loss of body hair, changing of the body structure such as a neck, jaw, and forehead. They could speak better and had larger heads. They also began clothing the body for protection. This was a time period of transfiguration. It was very short. It only lasted a generation and a half. Those who were harvested on this planet were able to use their new bodies for the third density lessons. I'm hoping to ascend and keep my body for the next cycle. The third density has one lesson: self-awareness. I am becoming more and more self-aware every day, as you guys should be awakening as well. A lot of people will say I'm awake, but I feel like we're awakening and we're really expanding our consciousness levels every day. So the third density has one lesson: self-awareness or self-consciousness. In order to be capable of achieving this, the chemical complex in the body must be capable of abstract thought. This is fundamental and necessary because of the rational and intuitive thinking that will be required. Second density entities relied on intuition. Then the third density mind became capable of processing information in abstract ways. This is carefully planned and engineered stage of development. So we're trying to get back to that state of intuitive awareness. We kind of lost that and became really ego-based species. And now we're trying to get back to that space of intuition now and kind of get back to that same frame. If we go back to previous information and consider and remember the discussion we had to go on the logos with the primal distortions of free will, we know each galaxy developed into its own logos. We talked about the logos. I like to think of the logos as love, or the matrix, the illusion, the hologram, whatever you want to call it. But I love the word logos. I've always been really drawn to that word in any form. So we know that each galaxy developed its own logos or its own matrix. I like to think we actually have our own little planet here too. That we each pretty much have our own universe or our own reality. This logos has complete free will in determining the path of intelligent energy that promotes each lesson, and each density given the conditions of the planets and the suns. There's a physical catalyst operating at all times upon the entities of the third density. I know we know that. It operates approximately the same way in second density. It's a catalyst which acts through pain and emotion. We know that the third dimension is a lot of separateness and a lot of pain, and that's really what pushes us in that catalyst is our pain basically is our strength. A lot of people will cry about their experiences, but that pain that you've been through, that is your strength now. It's the primary reason the physical body weakens. This increases the evolutionary process. If you consider a tree, it's self-sufficient. People are only self-sufficient through hard work. It's harder to learn and sort of build, and it's like a built-in handicapped. It's the great virtue of the third density. The rational and intuitive mind weakens the human body. And that's so true. It's our thoughts that make us sick. It's negative thinking. It's just kind of, thinking about ourselves negatively and others negatively that makes people sick. It's so true. Our lessons are about love and knowing. The catalysts shared between two people are important. It's an important part of experiencing yourself. It's also important in the time we spend in solitude. This is how we synthesize everything. We synthesize our experiences through meditation. We learn fastest with other people. Other people are like mirrors. They aid us by reflecting. We had second density beings have primary motivations towards themselves and possibly a little motivation towards service to others with respect to their immediate family going into the third density and carrying their bias, mainly about their country and things like that. A lot of people are really patriotic and really service of others when it comes to their family, but when it comes to the good of all, they're not so much. Since the newest third density beings who have just made the transition from second are strongly biased towards self-service, there are many other mechanisms to create an awareness of the possibility of service to others. An entity can start in second density as service to self and continue right on through and just stay on that path of service to self and never be pulled out of it. Except the second density concept of serving oneself includes serving of those associated with their tribe of pack. In this scenario, everyone is seen as oneself, and if the tribe or pack becomes weakened, so does the entity within the tribe or pack. The third density has an innocent bias or distortion towards viewing those in their family and in society, and those in their country as self. This distortion is not helpful progress past the separation of the third dimension. This break becomes more apparent as the entity perceives everyone as separate and attempts to manipulate people for self-benefit. This is the beginning of the path of separation. We all have free will, and at some point, if time during your third dimensional experience, the path will split, and the person will consciously or unconsciously choose their path. The majority of third density beings are far along their chosen path before realization of that path is made consciousness. We all know we have two choices, service to self or service of others. And that's how this will come down. This is how people or humanity will be separated or sorted. The longer you've been on your path, the easier it is for you to switch polarities. It's the same as electricity. We have a positive and negative pole. The more you build the charge on the end of these, the more the potential difference and the greater the ability to do work, as we call it in the physical. This would be the same analogy that we have of consciousness. There is a relationship between what we perceive as a physical phenomenon. For example, the electrical phenomenon and the phenomenon of consciousness, they have stemmed from the one creator, are practically identical, but they have different actions. The body is created in many electromagnetic fields. We know our aura is an electromagnetic field around us. So we have a body made of electromagnetic fields that interact because of conscious energy. It's made of spiritual fields, and they aren't perfect, but they're realized in many distorted ways by the mind and its energy fields. So they are perfect, but our mind distorts our aura. It distorts our energy field. So all of your thoughts are going to have a huge impact on your aura. I'm always doing aura photography, and the reason why I do that is because I like to keep track of my energy and how I'm doing energetically, and I like to actually be able to see my energy. I know I can feel it and really tell how I am any given day, but I like to see what it actually looks like on camera as well. So we know that our thoughts are really affecting our bodies. We're actually perfect. Our entire aura and energy field should be perfect, but our thoughts are really distorting it. Each person has their basic polarity expressed in their crown chakra. Your crown chakra, we've been over this, is like a thermometer for your entire body. And it will also reflect in your aura color. It's affected by all your thoughts. It's also affected with your relationships between the microcosm, which is the entity, and the macrocosm in many forms. The macrocosm is best compared to the stars. Each star has an energy ray that enters the electromagnetic web of the entity based on their individual distortions. This is the root of astrology too. Astrology is one way to perceive future outcomes and probabilities based on probability and possibility lines. These are taken into account with cosmic origins and configurations at the time of your birth. Your birth can predict and suggest basic areas of distortion in your energy fields. I'm going to let you guys go really fast on that note. I'm going to get off of here, and then I'm going to do another feed for my Sparks of Divine Light news feed. So I will be seeing you shortly. If anyone hasn't joined our Mystery School of Atlantis class, you guys can sign up anytime still. I'm covering the log one right now. I'm hoping to move a little bit quicker through it so that we can start. I want to do the Emerald tablets next, and we're just going to continue studying stuff. So it's pretty amazing. How it works is you can make a $20 donation and join anytime. We do it on a group here on Facebook, and in joining the group you get access to all the feeds. I'll drop the link below as soon as I get off of here.